Good evening. Good evening, Facebook world, YouTube world, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, uh, Amazon Music, Twitter, and all you guys out there in the viewing and listening audience. We're so happy to have you tonight, and we're so excited to come back with another episode. And we're closing in on episode 50, if you can believe that. Man, it's going to be a milestone, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're coming up on an anniversary of Inked as well, so we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But we just had an anniversary, 1 year anniversary of Comic Camaraderie, so we're so happy you were able to hang out with us tonight. And without further ado, let's make sure we go ahead and get this party started, shall we? Man, that still gets me every time. That's just always a lot of fun. Our guest of this evening, our man of honor, is going to be Mr. Austin Janowski. And he's going to be talking about his comic, Stanley the Snowman. He's going to be talking about his acting career and some of the awesome, cool stuff he's done. He's just been in this business for a long time and done some really great things. But I don't want to steal his thunder. I'll let him tell you all about that good stuff. So let me go ahead and bring in Mike, and we'll kind of get this thing started.
Hey!
Hello, sir.
Kevin!
Hey, what's going on in your neck of the woods, man?
It's been awesome, man. You brought me a good thing this week. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Awesome.
I don't know if we can talk about it, but maybe we can talk about it later. About what's coming up.
We can talk about it a little bit if you want to. It ain't gonna. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, go ahead. Feel free. You can spill the beans. We're all amongst friends here.
All right, so I'm going to be at MegaCon this year, folks, with Sean Hainsworth, the author and creator of The Killing Machine. And did he also pen, is that a story by him, Woodstake?
Yes, he penned that one as well.
All right, yeah.
He's got another one coming out right after that called Erotech. So he's got,
nice.
the challenge with that was 3 comics in 3 months. So that was quite the tall order, but they're stacked up there ready to go. So but 2 of them are out already. The third one's coming. Third one's already in production. So
I'm so excited, man. So super excited to get to mingle with fans and meet people and talk about comics. Last year, I went to Pensacon and had a great time. Met people like Ming Chang and Peter David and Tony Isabella. Got to meet him in person. That was a pleasure and a treat.
I learned a lot. He's actually going to be on in April. He's going to be on in April. I talked to him just the other day, and we're just trying to zero in on the date. But I think we got everything. I think we got just about wrapped up. So yeah. Yeah, big fan. Oh, it's cons are fun. We haven't been, of course, in a while, but we're excited to get back and kind of rub elbows and shake hands and talk comics, man. So on that,
you representing the Ink Studios brand.
There you go, man. Be out there.
I'm super excited.
It's so much fun because this is we talk about coming up on the show 50 for this show, and then the number that's really amazing to me and it's really heartfelt and really just proud to say is this one right here. Coming up on the 75th crowdfunder. So that's got a lot of bang to it. And we're just fixing to cross over the 60 line, and we've got another 20 books in production right now. So that 75 is well within our grasp, and we're coming up on it fast. So stay tuned for that. We'll tell you more about it a little bit later in the show. But without further ado, instead of us yapping, let's let the man of the hour yap some. So let's bring in Mr. Austin Janowski.
John, thanks for having me. Happy to be
not a problem. Happy to have you, man.
My living room section couch thing.
There you go.
Well, good to see you. Nice to meet you, Mr. Mike.
Good to see you. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Artist, actor, and director.
Yeah, man. He's got a very, and we'll let him kind of throw his accolades, but he's been there and done that, And I've been a fan for a long time, following him, and watched him kind of pop on with other people. Watched him kind of catch up with Brian Wayne. They got a picture together that I saw at the last con they were both at together. So I was like, hey, I know you two guys.
Yeah, that was Fan Expo Denver. Yeah. He
had a lot of fun there. And but no, it's good to have you on, and it's good to see that Stanley's doing well. And for those of you who want to see what we're going to be talking about, let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. This thing's it's always like flying a plane, man. There's so much stuff on the board, trying to weed through and find everything. We're going to be talking about.
So, Mike, while he's looking for it, I heard you're going to MegaCon.
Yes, MegaCon, man. I was originally going to go to as a fan this year, but I'll wait.
There we go. We're going to be talking about Stanley Snowman, and Stanley's back in another adventure, and it's really a family favorite. It's really one that you can sit down and read with the kids, and they can check it out themselves. It's really a good family, wholesome kind of book. So, without further ado, let's hear some more about Stanley. And if you want, Mike, can you do me a favor? Can you go ahead and bring up whenever you just go ahead and bring up the Kickstarter, and we'll kind of get settled and get him to go through it with us and kind of tell all the good folks what kind of goodies they can get. But while he's doing that, go ahead and tell us a little bit about how Stanley came about, how that got started.
Okay. So Stanley, first idea came a little over 10 years ago. Actually, this morning, and my adult daughters were teenagers, and they were bickering about one had a bigger present and one had more. And when we were growing up, we had one big present, like that was it. And then we had stockings,
Right.
So to complain about it was all about family traditions, spending time with family. That's what Christmas was supposed to be about. And I was bemoaning how the commercialized way Christmas has turned into was kind of took away from that. Hey, Marvin. So I thought we should kind of do a story, not bashing the commercialism of it, but how there could be sort of a balance between it, kind of shifted one way or another. But I didn't want to do like a Santa story, and I didn't want to do a reindeer story. No one's really done any snowman stories since, Frosty. And that was like 40, 50 years ago. So that's just kind of how it all got started. And
Nice.
So originally we did as an animated looking art. Casey Moyer was the first artist. And unfortunately, some bad planning on me, on her expectations, really couldn't get it together the way we wanted to. And then a few years ago, I started to revamp it, made it as an anime art style. I thought that did much better. And we got it in with Scout Comics after we did a successful Kickstarter to get it up and going.
Okay.
And that was, we had Juan Pablo Montiago Marcial. Can't believe I said it right the first time. I'm so proud of myself. He's our series artist. So he did it, and we had covers from him and Mitsushiro Arita. Now, he is the main Pokemon artist. He does all the Pokemon cards. And we've been friends for a few years. He did a cover for it. So we did great. And Scout picked it up, and the plan was they do a 24-page comic book for their all-age imprint Scoot, and then they move directly into a graphic novel. Well, 2021, we had the pandemic and COVID and paper shortages.
Mm-hmm.
Really slowed everything down. So it got put on hold. And it might be happening sometime, I think, later on next year. But I didn't want everyone to wait like over a year to get more Stanley stuff and kind of get it out there for people. So this is the next 24 pages of the story. And it does twofold. One, it gets more story out there. It gets people ready for the big graphic novel that'll be coming out sometime later on. And two, people need some Christmas cheer. And, the pandemic crap and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's, it's not going away. People are still kind of, you need some warmth. You need some snowman hugs here and all that. So, you
do. It's weird times out there still. There's just they talk about it in different places about how people are still affected and how they've been kind of so isolated and the things that are happening right now. So yeah, it's a good time to like I said, spread some cheer out there.
I think so.
Being a psychologist will be really great for somebody's career choice one day, because we're all going to need to talk to somebody eventually.
Yeah. So that's why we decided we launched the Kickstarter. And but for those who haven't really picked up much of Stanley, we're now offering, we got Scouts issue number 1 as well. You can get with the issue number 2. So you can get, is it mostly in the add-on section? And my daughter just turned on the TV. What are you watching?
Watching Stanley.
This is a Hawaii 5. Was it Hawaii 5-0? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
You always have that one thing that happens, right?
There's always one thing in every live that happens, and that's the fun of it. That's why we like going live.
You're forgiven.
Yeah, no big deal.
So we have 3 covers for number 2. We got Juan who did 1. We have a retro cover done by Casey and myself, and we have a really cool Home Alone homage cover done by made by Nate Johnson. Now he does lots of really amazing cover art for Comics Tom 101. He's the one who did all the Stanley Dr. Seuss homage cover.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So we got the books you can get. We've got the metal versions for the collectors. We've got stickers. We've got signed scripts. I do layouts to send to the artist. So I'm going to do like a script, the layout that goes with it, and the book all signed together.
Nice.
There's lots of different things for people.
It's always good to have all that extra in there. And it's it makes it a lot more like Christmas, right?
I'm ready to share if we want to switch gears.
Yeah, go ahead and switch gears and go ahead and throw it in there. And we're going to kind of Brady Bunch over for a second, and your stuff's going to get up on the main screen.
Sure.
So go ahead and send it over, and I'll grab it, and we'll throw it up there. It's so funny. Sometimes there'll a fire truck or something will be way off in the distance. You can't barely hear it on here, but the dogs will hear it. So
what's funny is we're in South Tampa, so we're about 500 feet from MacDill Air Force Base.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's quiet as a mouse. It's been loud all week. It's quiet today. It's like, okay, good. And then my daughter came down for dinner and while eating.
Not a problem. Before I tell you what, real quick, before we go into the Kickstarter, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and it'll take over the screen for a second, and we'll go ahead and we'll kind of introduce people to Stanley, and then we'll go through the Kickstarter. So here's Stanley coming back into action.
Operation Stanley was a success, or was it? After Jenny successfully brought Stanley to life to spend the holidays with her family, they decide to celebrate without him. What will Stanley do to keep their holiday traditions alive and stop the family from going to Florida? Find out in the second issue of Stanley the Snowman, Operation Save the Holidays.
You wouldn't bank on the fact that one of our head animators is Australian, would you?
No, not at all.
That's
pretty cool.
It's really funny. I was posting these in comments, and someone commented on this post, and the link says, "Don't come to Florida." That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh man.
Well, let's go ahead and walk through the Kickstarter, and you can kind of go through it. We're already you're already at about 35% or so, it looks to be, and going good. Just a few days into it, so going strong. Almost at 50 for backers, so that's good numbers.
Yeah.
So all right, let's go ahead and start off. I love this shot right here. Just that whole setup just makes it very much a Winter Wonderland kind of thing. So that I use as the interior art for all the comic books themselves. But before I had it was a deer, and then for this one it's going to be a wolf, and then for the graphic novel it's going to be something different. Oh, cool!
Polar bear.
There you go.
Yeah, why not? That's a good idea.
And then here is one of the covers coming up that he was talking about. And this is going to just kind of a general. Yeah.
So this kind of gives you like the background of what happened after the first Kickstarter with Scout, and these are cool covers that went with it, and why we were planning on the graphic novel, but then it got pushed to the side. We didn't want to wait, so that's why we're doing the Kickstarter.
Gotcha. And like you said, the great thing about it is people can actually reach back and get the first one as well, so they're not going to miss out.
Right. Exactly.
This is a big thing right here too. I love
seeing
Kickstarters like this, like already done.
Now, what I did was there's a link to the first issue as a digital. If you click on it, it has all the pages. So you can look at the first issue that you want if they're interested in seeing also. So
nice. And then the next coming up is the main cover, correct? That's the main cover for issue 2?
The retro cover.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one. This was actually just a character design that Casey did just to get a basic idea. And I loved the post so much that I finished the drawing, I inked it and colored it and did the background and everything for it.
It's just got an innocence to it. You know? And that's I like that. It's just he's got that kind of just wholesome, innocent look to him.
Yes.
Love those arms.
Yeah.
Olaf wish he had those arms.
The idea behind Stanley was how he's brought to life. Everyone in a generation has that magical ability to bring him to life, but they have to add something to Stanley. Like one generation, they made the hat, one made the scarf, one made the hands, one made the nose.
Okay.
Jenny made a locket, and that's what she used to bring Stanley to life.
Gotcha.
Dude, that's super creative. I love it.
Well, we grew up in comic books where you had to have origins. You had to have, reasons why things were the way they were.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, this one here, this is the main cover, Stanley on the train.
Yeah. And we had a lot of fun with this one, bringing the ads into it, talking about, rushing to the Kickstarter. He was, on the move and he was on his way. So
it definitely says a lot without saying anything.
It does. It does.
Yep. Yeah, Juan did a great job. So he lives in Peru, and English is obviously not his first language. So when we first started, the communication wasn't exactly there. That's why I did the layouts. So my basic layout design for that was really, really basic. And he knew exactly what I wanted. He just crushed it.
It's interesting. That brings up a funny story and there's so many talented artists out of country, but like you said, sometimes the language is a little off. And one of the people that had come on talked about, he wanted a car lifted, like the old Superman homage. And that gentleman's language, lift meant elevator. So he put a car in the elevator. So when the drawings came back. So yeah, just a little bit of fine tuning on the language sometimes. So
absolutely.
And then this is Nate's cover, correct? This is the one that did the ones. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it came out so good. It's so cool.
Yeah, and like you said, he was the one that did all the different spinoffs before on the first cover, correct?
Yeah, like the orange Dr. Seuss and the blue Dr. Seuss. Yeah, that was him.
Can people can still get those, right? The physical copies of number one?
Yeah, like in the Kickstarter here, when you go to the add-ons, all the books will be there to add on to them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you have the regular cover. There's a VHS variant, which is really neat. And then you got the two Dr. Seuss's.
Gotcha.
So these are all the rewards, the digital, the physical. You can the one for all three. If you want to go ahead of time, you can just catch up just to get the regular covers for both of them right there.
Yep.
Oh, cool. You get a signed script. Man.
Yeah, I went ahead and I did the catch up and then the signed script. So
yeah. There's a lot of people that I like adding rewards to those that like the genre but not necessarily want a comic book, but they like the other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
People really like the script ideas.
Yeah, I'm a signature junkie anyway, though. So I got the walls covered with all kind of signed stuff, art and scripts and you name it. So I've always been that way.
What we're offering this time is myself and Nate are offering signatures and remarks.
Nice.
I'm really new to the remark thing. I didn't know what really was about. I did a signing at Izzy's Comics and Collectibles in Alabama. And
yeah, we do. We have a few creators that do a lot of remarks. Monty does a lot of remarks and does an excellent job.
Well, they kept they give me pops like, hey, can you do so I'm like, sure. I'm like, it was so great. I had so much, like 30 of them. It was so neat.
One of the and people, all the different creators get so just creative about the remarks themselves, and of course they're all individualized. So one of the ones we got, my wife's a big fan of Monty's too, and she got one where Lady Death has all the different skulls on the throne that she's sitting on. Mm-hmm. And I called him up. I was like, Did you happen to not throw the remark in this? Is it coming in another package? He's like, no, that's the remark. I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, there's probably 50 skulls, probably 25 on each side, and you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell it was a remark.
Yep.
So did an awesome job on that. But yeah, remarks are so much fun. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of people wanting remarks. It's a big thing these days.
I've had a few people do the sketch cards. I'm starting to do the big commissions. The small sketch cards are a lot of fun to collect.
Yep. And cards are kind of coming back too, because as you notice, in the 90s when things kind of dipped off for comics, the comic shops actually brought in cards, right? To kind of everything's comics and cards now on their shows. So yeah, comics are still there, but cards are actually kind of making a comeback this time.
I did I think I did an X-Men cards. I did Red Sonja. I did Vampirella, and Iron Man.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Nice.
So
I probably have somewhere in these boxes. I'm sure I have some of your cards from back in the day.
Yeah, I'm sure. So here's some of the. This isn't all the add-ons, but that's most of the add-ons.
Okay.
It's. I like the way you have it stacked to where they can, like you said, you can pick and choose. You can build your own. Everything's a la carte, so you can build your own package.
Yeah, that was my whole point. Yeah, this way they're like, well, I like this one, but I kind of like this one. This way, there's some of them you have to choose in order to get the other ones. Add some, otherwise you can just mix and match because people like what they like. This is just my basic breakdown, script, and then really rough layouts, and you can see how well he did from the layout itself. And then Fabri Ferdinand, he is a colorist that I found online because he was a huge fan of a cover I did for Divine Retribution, and he had asked if he could color it. I'm like, sure. He crushed it. And I said, hey, do you do this sort of coloring style? And he did. So he colored pretty much the entire graphic novel.
I love when creators add this point and all this back into their Kickstarters to kind of show the process, especially for the new creators coming in the market that aren't quite sure how to get from point A to point B.
Absolutely, man. Definitely save you $90,000. That's for sure.
Definitely.
It's got a nice palette to it. It's got a really nice color palette.
I love Fabri's color palettes. I gave him a little because we had another colorist, Dan Strada, on one. With COVID happening, he had to stop doing comics and help his family's store. So that's why I moved on to Fabri. So he took some of the elements that Dan did, because Dan was a fantastic artist in his own right, and he kind of tweaked the color palettes. It's so good.
Yeah, he did very well with it.
Yeah. I know I'm biased, but it's really cute, pretty art. It's really nice.
I love the expressions. That's what that panel right there is one of my favorite panels because all the different expressions it goes through.
Yeah, me too. Now, my son-in-law, he's all into anime and manga and whatnot, and I get it. I've been around it, and there's some interesting things. There's some really weird stuff that I just can't quite understand. But I asked him different art styles. He helped me pick this art style out, which would fit best for the book.
Gotcha.
So my family has helped me in my choices as well.
Awesome.
On me.
So, that's cool when everybody can come together like that. That manga's got its whole huge section in Books A Million. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Man, they just took over my comics section in my Books A Million. I was mad. I went in there the other day, and there's like 4 sections of what used to be like 12 sections of like Marvel and DC and Image and Boom and Dynamite. Now it's just 4 little old sections, and it might have something to do with manga yet again outsold comics in the market this year.
Yeah,
last quarter, I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
Well, it's I pay attention to all that stuff too about the store space and everything. It's kind of like when you go in Best Buy. Of course, now everybody's streaming, so DVDs and Blu-rays are about to go the way of the dodo, right? I mean, there's very small sections of footprint in Best Buy now for that sort of thing. So it's shrinking by the almost by the month. It's crazy. Now I am going to date myself a little bit here, as we all are, but I had to go ask. I went to go buy a VCR the other day, right? And I could have sworn I saw them in the stores just like last year. I could have sworn I saw them.
Yeah.
But no, they have not been sold in Best Buy or Walmart in 2 to 3 years.
You have to go to pawn shops now in order to find one. Yeah.
That's what I had to do. Actually, a lot of the listening audience knows that my wife gave me a Atari 2600 for Christmas. So I'm going back and doing all the fun stuff like I did when I was 10 or 11 years old. But I had to get a VCR to hook it up to a TV. I had to run through there. So I had to find a VCR, which is an adventure in and of itself.
I love it. That's so cool.
But go ahead and tell us a little bit about each of the. You told us a little bit about the colors, but tell us a little bit more about each of the creators here.
Sure. So when I was trying to find an anime artist, I actually went on Facebook, and Juan was one of the people that contacted me. He's fairly new to the art thing. He teaches art, that sort of thing at where he lives. He's an online gamer. He has this, Rexa Throne. He's like his gaming thing. So he does games and he does live casting for artwork too. So that's a lot of fun. And
Nice.
he just got engaged, so we're happy for him. Super, super nice guy. If I can, once the pandemic is done, we're going to hopefully get them over to the States to do some conventions. I think that'd be great.
That would be awesome. Yeah, some conventions, some signings, some store appearances. Yeah, that stuff's always fun.
Yeah. Nikki Powers is the letterist. Now, I started doing the lettering, but I didn't have any time last year. Even with the pandemic, it just got so busy with film. So Nikki stepped up. Now she's done lettering for like Dark Horse, for Image, for Scout. She's done lots of stuff. So she's a super pro, super, super nice person, really works fast. And I couldn't be happier to have her work on it.
Lettering is in and of itself can make or break a book. I mean, it's its own art form.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you do it right, you can't tell it's that good. You know
exactly. I mean? It's the unsung hero. It's the it's the bass guitarist in the band, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you saw we're packaging with Gemini mailers.
Nice.
And for the extra mile, for the medals, we got special packaging that we'll be doing for that too. So.
And that's always appreciated, to get your comic exactly how you want to get your comic.
Oh, it's learning process, man. Learning process. Yep. For me,
I still receive some in flags.
Using mailers, and it's been fantastic. And then here is my, questions. Why make a comic by yourself instead of comics you're doing too? Well, that's a great question. So there's that. Why'd I go the anime route? Because, and then with it coming out, there you go. So they can read different little.
Nice. Well, it's good to include the why, what's going on with it and why it's,
why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm not just,
Exactly.
Well, it's you getting in front of what you think could be great talking points, so nobody manipulates the narrative.
When I do a lot of conventions, that's like the first three things about Stanley they ask when they buy it. So.
Very true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Great Kickstarter. It's on its way. It's being shared out there all over the place. People can catch it. And again, what's been scrolling across the bottom of the screen, you can definitely pick it up. Go to inkedpub.com, or you can go to inkedpub/Stanley the Snowman and pick it up. So
yes.
It's always a fun little thing right there. But no, now another thing, not only is he has, like I said, been doing comics, but he's also had his share of acting as well. And I'm going to throw this up and you can kind of walk us through this real quick.
Yeah. So the comic book thing I've done since 1994. I've been lucky enough as anchor to work on Iron Man for Marvel, helping Jay Leeson on X-Men Unlimited and Tomb Raider, plus for Image, IDW, Dynamite, Devil's Due, and a bunch of others. And so my backup plan while I was getting into comic books was graphics. Mm-hmm. So I did newspaper for a while, and then I moved to Florida, worked for Lockheed Martin, and then I was lucky enough to work for Disney and Universal and NASCAR, and then Warner Brothers, and I was an art director for Verizon, and I was a creative director. So when I retired, about 6 or so years ago, I was going to teach, but then I had a buddy of mine. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing a film. Do you want to be a ghoul?" Oh, sure. And then, "You want to be a bodyguard? And then you want to be this?" So that's kind of like got the bug. And I'm like, I never dreamed I could actually try to do it, but Florida's a big film market.
Right.
I started auditioning and trying to do things, and I was well enough to get an agent. And 6 years later, I'm doing commercials. Like I did one for a real estate company yesterday. Last fall, I was in films with Dean Cain. I was in one with Jasmine Guy. I was in one with Tom Lipinski and Albert Jones. Albert Jones was in Mindhunter. Tom Lipinski was in Suits.
Okay.
I was in Snapped. I've been on hold for like The Righteous Gemstone for HBO and a bunch of others. I was in a couple of national commercials, like one for eHealth, one for Blackstone Griddle. So
didn't you say you kind of spin yourself as the everyman actor? And that kind of
That's kind of what I've been told. I'm a character actor. I'm not a leading man, and I'm okay with that. I like doing characters. I like helping bring the story along, being on an ensemble, and I guess I can play almost anything. That's what I've been told. So that's what I'm trying to do. So and it's interesting. when I was in comic books all those years, I was so stressed on making it. I didn't enjoy the process and the journey. So this one, I'm just enjoying all of that.
Nice. That's and here's when we say arrived. This is a picture that I just fell in love with that I saw pop up yesterday. This is it right here. This is what makes this is what makes it. When you say Phil, you've made it. This is the picture that embodies that for me.
So this was my birthday, and I was doing a signing at the Collective. They are a store in Longwood in Florida. So I'm setting up, and this little girl was with her dad, super excited. And the dad goes, "She came all this way after reading the book with me, loved it, and she wanted to bring you this for your birthday. And she brought me a birthday card."
That's awesome.
Signed with it. Yeah. Tears,
Oh yeah. Who couldn't hold that back? I mean, and I see she's drawn a little Stanley on there and stuff. So yeah.
It's so cute.
That's awesome.
They backed the campaign last night. It was so nice. I love it because there's a lot of kids. It's hard to find it, but when they find Stanley and they buy it, they love it and they're dying for more. So
nice.
that tells me at least I think I'm doing something right with the story and with the book. So that keeps me going. This is exactly why people should make comic books.
Yeah.
This thing right here.
Yeah. When I saw, I was like, that's the embodiment of it right there. That says it all.
Yep. 100%.
You've definitely got to grow up and be an artist.
Yeah.
I hope so. Or a writer or creator. Just something. But
something in the business.
You bring the creator a birthday card, like she's got to grow up and do something in the creative field.
Yeah.
Inspiration written all over that one.
I agree.
Well, definitely an awesome job on bringing that to children, and like I said, making a very nice, wholesome book. Great offering on the Kickstarter. It's all put together well. So we'll keep getting the word out there. And again, you guys make sure you swing by. Quickest way is inkedpub.com. Click it right there. You can jump, check out the Kickstarter. You can see some stuff on the video. You can read more about it. It's all right there for you. And there's links all over the place, man. You can't run from it. It's going to be everywhere.
For those that watch this and they jump on, then they pledge or something like that, write in the messages that you saw it in the video, and I'll have something extra special for you.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. We'll once we get it out of the can for tonight, we'll go ahead and put it in, and then it'll be on all the rest of them. That's when it hits Spotify and YouTube and it goes out. So awesome. It'll be everywhere.
Okay.
Well, thanks for being part of the Inked family and being part of that, on the road to 75, the countdown.
Yeah.
So we hope you do well, and we'll happy to have you on the show, man. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, sir. Bye. Such a cool dude, man. And it's nice to see when creators do kids books like that. Because man, kids book, that's a tough market. I'm gonna tell you what, it's much easier to sell a book on combat or a sexy girl book or something. Kids books, that's a tough road.
Yeah, especially with the kids these days, because attention spans. My 4-year-old, my 10-year-old, there's like one thing here, 10 seconds, they're doing something totally different.
Oh, and they're and you're buying for attention, right? You got video games and all kind of stuff, all kind of other stuff going on.
Huge markets.
They're like, reading. What about that? But so you got to make something that's a good draw. So
I finally found the end to my nephew's. I bought him a Hulk comic for his birthday last year, but it didn't take. And today I picked him up from school, and he shoved a trade of Sonic 30th anniversary graphic novel in my face. He picked up the book
nice.
thing. Yes, you read the comic book? He's like, yes. I'm like, so proud of you. Like, I'm gonna buy you more.
It's about time, boy. You're part of the family now. That's awesome.
It's an introduction into prose. Comics have over the years, and they'll never get credit for this in the media, have helped more kids learn how to read and do comprehension than almost any other medium for writing in the world.
Oh, you're right. You're dead on with that. It's such a, and me, when I was I don't know, I guess probably 10 or 11 when I first picked up my first one, I used to like to draw out of them. So, that helped lead to founding my career as moving forward. So it can do all kind of things. It's amazing. So we're gonna run through previews real quick, and or I should start calling them post views, because we like the creator to come on and talk, and then again, you can pick up Stanley. Go to inkedpub.com, and you can see all the different crowdfunded books there. Again, Inked Pub, your source for the best in crowdfunded comics. So check it out, and we're going to go ahead and run through a few real quick. Doing Well is Shadow's Daughter. And Shadow's Daughter is a book that's from Morgan Quaid, and it's about a Shadowmancer. And Summer is the girl featured here, and she can move and bend shadow to her will. So that's let's go ahead, and I will go ahead and let the video speak for itself because he was just on the last episode. So let me pull up the video and run through that real quick. So here is a little bit more on Shadow's Daughter. I was talking to Morgan right before the show, and I was like, well, man, you've run out of stretch goals, so time to muster something else up. That's a good problem to have, though. So
it is, man. That means people are excited about the product.
Yeah, that's that thing's now it's over. It's almost on 800% funded, so it's just blowing things out of the water. And this was one of those books that got held up, exactly what Austin was saying earlier with the pandemic and with paper and all these kind of shortages going on. And this book actually got held up from last year as a carryover because we had the campaign ready to go and everything's going great. And we're just fixing to pull a trigger, and then everything just, went to hell in a handbasket. So it was, he's like, what do we do now? And we talked about re-releasing it, just not even putting it out last year, right? Because he had to fulfill the last one to get to the next one, right? That's how the game is played. And he couldn't with the paper thing. So when this one came out, it was time to just, and he got 2 more comics written in the time it was first supposed to come out until it was released now. So instead of a nice 4-pack offering, he went right out of the gate with the 6-pack offering. And the cool thing about it is we've added a bunch of other PDFs to it, and it's just grown from there. You can get so many books with this one. It's unreal. So when you get this one, like I said, you can get the 6 books. Then you can start adding on to that because of all the stretch goals that have been unlocked. You get a whole stack of books with this thing. So you can't go wrong. And people love extra books. So make sure you go check out Shadow's Daughter and give them some love and get that, get that in your hands. It's a book you're not going to want to sleep on because there's more coming out. And it the awesome thing about it is whatever, indie creator wants, right? It got picked up by Marcosia. So that book's going to be in all kind of comic stores everywhere. And,
huge international publisher.
Yes. So we're very happy that book got picked up for him, and happy to be a part of it with him and alongside him and getting this thing out there. So we're very proud of him, and expect to see more coming out real soon on different things that he's got going. So I want to get that out there, and we're going to talk about the next book. So it's interesting to have such a wide array of creators to work with all the time. So the next one up is Woodstake. And Woodstake is the second comic out from Daring Escape. And the last one was The Killing Machine, space comic, robots, a lot of cool stuff going on. That book did very well. And he swapped from that over, then moved into a vampire that descends on Woodstock. So imagine a vampire dropping in on Woodstock, and it's just a whole 3 days of just mayhem. So to kind of run you through a little bit more about that, we'll show you the video for Woodstock, and you need to go check that one out. Again, swing over to inkpub.com, click on Woodstake, and it's, again, just 3 days of a vampire just kind of, tripping out at Woodstock with the rest of everybody else.
Man, I believe those are riffs from our very own Morgan, right? That was
Yes,
Morgan.
sir. I always like bringing that up there. I'm like, that's very Jimi Hendrix-esque is what we were going for. And I was like, that's Morgan laying that down.
That's
And
enough for me to get my air guitar going.
oh man, it's so much fun. It's such a talented guy, man. Can do the whole creative thing, jump over. And, creative flows back and forth between music and art, right? We talked about that a couple episodes ago with my old art teacher, and was the drum corps instructor and stuff. So talked about how music and art, just roll back and forth, even into problem solving, right? So it all kind of ties together. So the very person that has Shadow out there for Shadow's daughter is the same person that has the licks going in this video. So again, Morgan and I come together to do Fallout Studios, and that's one of the products that we offer. So these animations have become kind of a staple. People like picking them up every time they get a pack. They want to go ahead and get get one of the animations as well. So we're happy to be able to offer that for them. And then there's a whole ton of books coming out in March and April. I mean, a good bit of that 20 are going to be dumping in the next 60 days. So it's going to be just a fun time. A lot of books offered out there. And we're going to you'll start to see them throughout the campaign when we offer up the thing about the 75th, Kickstarter. We're going to do that countdown, and we'll kind of count down week to week which ones are what and what's coming out. You're going to start to see a lot of advertisements out there and a lot of radio play in the podcasting world of what all those are going to be. So I don't want to give that away just yet. And then last but not least, we just covered everything about Stanley, but I still want to put that back up and cover it in the post views as well. So again, Stanley Snowman is what the topic was today. Got to hear from Austin about how that came together, a little bit behind the scenes. And for those of you who just might have started tuning in and quite missed the beginning, we're going to go ahead and run through that video as well, because that's another one that we put together and had a lot of fun. This was a real upbeat, fun one to do. So here is Stanley with, getting back into the groove with issue 2.
Operation Stanley was a success, or was it? After Jenny successfully brought Stanley to life to spend the holidays with her family, they decide to celebrate without him. What will Stanley do to keep their holiday traditions alive and stop the family from going to Florida? Find out in the second issue of Stanley the Snowman, Operation Save the Holidays.
So, yeah, I'm already on board. I'm just, the whole Operation Save the Holidays. I'm definitely with it. So, great book, a lot of fun. Happy to see it out there, and happy that he's part of the Inked family. So, it's just another, it's interesting jumping from a vampire book over to a, nice family book. So, it's fun being able to jump from.
Shows how versatile we are with our, not just our clientele, but our interests and our life.
There you go. Oh yeah, I'm all over the place when it comes to what I like to read. So. Well, you guys had some person ask just a while ago in the comments. They said, how do you get on the show? This is how you get on the show right here. 2 different ways. One, if you swing over to the NSC Roadshow podcast tour, which is what we were a part of, along with 20 other podcasters that have comic as their main focus. So you can swing by there. You can drop us a line over there, or you can make sure you want to swing by Comic Roddery. And if you go by Comic Roddery, just hit the Book Now button. And just drop us a line, tell us what your book's about, when you'd like to try to come on, and we'll see if we can accommodate. We're kind of booked out through March and into April right now, but we are sliding in some special shows here and there, so maybe we get some stuff on. And if nothing else, we can get you in the post views and the previews and stuff. So we'll try to work some kind of way to get you in there. Again, here, just come on the Comic Roddery podcast and just, drop us a line, let us know what's going on. Look for all these kind of things. Again, we mentioned we just turned 1. And here's some of the different networks we're on. And at the time, we were on the 42nd, and I think this is the 44 or 45th episode, closing in on episode 50. So watch for that. Again, tune into Comics and Pop-Tarts, which is Mike's main show that he's on. And so go ahead and listen up there. Look for those kind of things. We need to go ahead and get that banner moved over here so we can get yours on here as well. So,
man, cycle me through.
Yep, we need to get that on there. So that's coming. Be looking for more of that. Also, too, one of the things is, I'm not going to show some of the behind the scenes yet because I don't want to steal his thunder, but we're working on getting Mara moved over from the Patreon over to Kickstarter. So the arc is finished. So the cool thing about it is everything's there to be able to go ahead and put it into Kickstarter. And for those of you who remember or haven't seen it before, I want to show you a quick video on Mara, and that's how we're going to end everything up. So here's Mara for those of you who hadn't seen yet.
Man, I tell you what, I've been a part of that Patreon since we interviewed him on Comic Camaraderie last year, and I've been seeing it grow, and it's seeing it grow compared to knowing that it's going to be in one place all at once. It's going to do so well. I'm so excited for it, man.
I'm psyched to see it, and it's going to be fun. I was just talking to him just this morning, and he was showing me some stuff, some of the things that they're having made for it. And again, I don't want to steal his thunder. I want him to be able to unveil it himself. But I was like, man, I'm sign me up right now. So it's going to be fun to see that unfold. And again, if you like hanging out with us and like hearing about comics or want to see what's going on, or you want to be a guest or something, make sure you swing by here.
For more fun-filled episodes, come visit our website, www.comicraderie.com.